Houston is arrested for crimes against a child. His charges tonight.
Attorney General Ken Paxton wins a lawsuit over censoring American media companies. The details tonight.
And pro-Palestinian protesters rally outside of a Harris County jail for the release of 2 students arrested this morning.
Looking for more heat and humidity for tomorrow, but tonight, while we're on the quiet side, there's big stuff happening just to the northeast of Dallas. You see it right about there. Tomorrow, we still have another chance for severe weather, but the weekend is looking better. We'll have all that coming up.
And the uncle of Jordan Whittington and Cuero legend Arthur Whittington passed a few weeks back, and there will be a celebration of life this Saturday. Those details in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker.
And I'm Karina Garcia. A 43-year-old suspect from Houston was arrested by Victoria County deputies Tuesday. Terry Ashley faces charges of inducing sexual performance of a child, online solicitation of a minor, and displaying harmful material to a minor. Ashley is in the Victoria County jail. No bond has been set. And also in Victoria, a 28-year-old suspect was arrested by Victoria police Tuesday. That's Caleb Walters. He is charged with aggravated robbery. He is in the Victoria County jail in lieu of a $50,350 bond.
Just before 4 this afternoon, authorities arrived on Moody Street to find this vehicle flipped over. Police say the driver in the flipped vehicle ran a red light while driving southbound. He has minor injuries. The driver and passenger in the other vehicle involved were not hurt, but still went to the hospital out of precaution. No details on the citation issued to the other driver. Wharton County deputies arrested a 34-year-old suspect from Harlingen Monday. Carlos Lopez faces charges of human smuggling in Wharton and Refugio counties. He is in the Wharton County jail in lieu of $100,000 bond. Goliad County deputies arrested 3 suspects Tuesday after finding illegal drugs and evidence of the distribution of the drugs. 2 men from Georgia, 35-year-old Nathaniel Thrash and 29-year-old Jeremy Brown, and 27-year-old Preston Dixon of Mississippi were arrested. They faced 4 counts of manufacture and delivery of a controlled substance and 1 count of unlawful carrying of a weapon. All 3 are in custody at the Goliad County Jail in lieu of $395,000 bond. Port Lavaca police want information about damage to city property. On the weekend of April 20th and 21st, the Bayfront boat ramp was damaged, mainly at the dock's guardrails and handrail. Port Lavaca police asked for information about the damage as well as the individuals responsible. If you have info, contact the Port Lavaca Police Department at 361-552-3788. Let's take a first look at your forecast with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Pettis. You know, today's weather has been really consistent if you think about it. Muggy in the morning, muggy in the afternoon, and tonight.
It's been consistently ugly. That's what it's been. And it was hot as well. Now, tomorrow is probably the last day that we get to visit the 90s, and I'm talking the temperatures. That's a forecast high for tomorrow, as you see right there, but it could be worse out west where the sun will be brightly shining. They'll get up into the low 100s. Will it be as muggy? Probably, but it will be better by the time we get to the weekend, and we'll have all that coming up in just a few minutes.
Mac, thank you. The DeWitt County Commissioners Court voted 4-0 to fire the county's elections administrator, Melissa Alcazar. She held the position since April 2018. Now, Alcazar turned in her resignation letter before the March 4th primary election. She then withdrew her letter of resignation. In late April, the county's election commission met to review complaints over a lack of communication and other election-related matters connected to Alcazar.
2 candidates are in the runoff race for Victoria County Commissioners in Precinct 3. Tuesday, we highlighted retired interim fire chief Shannon Martin. Now, 25 News Now reporter Adarius McCormick will introduce us to his opponent. Adarius?
Brad Tucker is the 2nd candidate in the Victoria County Commissioner Precinct 3 race. Tucker has more than 25 years of experience as a contractor and almost 20 years as a business owner. The Victoria native has owned and operated Tucker Construction Company for 18 years. He discussed his experience and how he'd use it in the role. However, his main goal is to lower taxes in the county.
I want our county government in particular and all government in general to be more effective, getting things done, more efficient so we can keep our taxes as low as possible and more accountable.
He plans to continue the current Commissioner Court's work on infrastructure like roads, ditches, and drainage. He believes his experience will bring his plans to life if elected. Tucker will go head-to-head with Shannon Martin for the Victoria County Commissioner Court Precinct 3 on May 28th. They both encourage the community to go out and vote. Don, Karina, back to you.
Darius, thank you. 9 of the 10 wrongful death lawsuits filed after the fatal crowd surge at the 2021 Astroworld Festival in Houston now settled, including one that was set to go on trial this week. An attorney for Live Nation says only one wrongful death lawsuit remained pending and the other 9 are settled. The lawsuit that remains pending was filed by the family of a 9-year-old, the youngest person killed during the concert. After a police investigation, a grand jury last year declined to indict Travis Scott, along with 5 others connected to the festival.
Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton got a victory in a lawsuit against the Biden administration. The lawsuit was over censoring American media companies. The federal government wanted to have the lawsuit dismissed, but a federal district court judge denied the Biden administration's request and ordered expedited discovery. Last December, Paxton sued the U.S. Department of State, Secretary of State Antony Blinken, and other government officials over their censorship of U.S. media.
Pro-Palestinian demonstrators gathered outside a Harris County jail today to call for the release of their fellow protesters. Authorities arrested 2 students at a protest encampment at the University of Houston this morning. Police were clearing out the encampment when arrests were made. A statement from the university clarified the students were allowed to protest, but tents and encampments were not permitted on campus grounds. One of the students was arrested for failure to identify, the other for assaulting a police officer and resisting arrest. So here's your beer poll tonight. You can scan that QR code right there on your screen to vote. The question is, do divestments actually work? According to our results, it looks like 74% takes the lead with no, and the remaining 26% voted yes. Thank you for voting tonight.
George Hayek, an Army veteran and longtime Victoria businessman, has died at the age of 104. Hayek was a founding partner in Dick's Food Store. He was also instrumental in starting the Victoria chapter of the Elks Club and the Just Friends Club. He served as a volunteer firefighter, owned a bank for a short time, and dabbled in real estate. There's a visitation at Rosewood Funeral Chapel Thursday from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. His funeral will take place at Trinity Episcopal Church at 10 a.m. Friday.
May 14th will mark 21 years since the killing of 19 undocumented immigrants at Fleming Prairie Road near U.S. Highway 77. The 19 people died inside the back of a hot-packed tractor trailer. A total of 70 people were found inside the truck, which reached 173 degrees. Among those found dead were a teen and a 5-year-old boy. Every year since the tragedy, family members, friends, and the community gather to honor the lives lost. Saturday at 11 a.m., a group will gather at Fleming Prairie Road and U.S. Highway 77. That's the Refugio Highway, to remember the victims.
Many residents in Barnsdall, Oklahoma are looking for somewhere to turn following Monday's devastating EF4 tornado.
Although many organizations are offering supplies, one pop-up help center is offering something unique.
It's been the request of many residents I've spoken to. Not food, water, or even clothes, but something less tangible. Prayer.
I know prayers work. It's just the power is in the prayer itself. And, you can't lose hope. And that's where our hope is. It's in God.
Paul Chapman's humble setup along the streets of Barnsdall offers spoken prayer or something else for those who may be hesitant.
And you don't really feel like you don't want to open up to a stranger, or you just don't feel like discussing it. So we'll put these cards out in a pen, and I tell the individual, if you like, to just leave your prayer at the cross.
Paul wears his heart on his sleeve, a man from Odessa, Texas, who says he just felt called to help.
That's what we do, is our brothers and sisters. Doesn't matter if it's Oklahoma, if it's Illinois, if it's California or Texas, or in our backyard or our front yard or whichever. We're still, if we all put our hands together across each state, we'll be touching each other. We're neighbors.
Paul took the nearly 600-mile drive down to Oklahoma, not once, but twice. He was in Sulphur just last week after a tornado also left people in dire need. The aftermath of that EF4 tornado in Barnsdall shaking a community to its core, some losing everything, which is why Paul tells me he took action.
Mostly I just love, just showing God's love. I mean, I can feed their bellies, I can feed their stomachs.
And he plans to do just that, offering burgers and sausages to anyone who stops by. A side of prayer is also on the menu.
That's the most important thing, is prayer. Because this community is going to build together. They're going to come back, they're going to bond, they're going to build together stronger. There's no question about it. And God's right in the heart of it.
Here are some of the top headlines you can read in the Port Lavaca Wave. The 2024 Adopt a Beach cleanup event on April 20th had more than 5,000 volunteers and removed nearly 60,000 pounds of trash from the Texas coastline. Plus, Texas Parks and Wildlife has presented a new 2,300-acre park to be built near Port O'Connor. You can read these stories and more at theportlavacawave.com. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell, so then what happens?
You can watch us on YouTube anytime.
How about that? All right. A security guard is still in recovery after a shooting outside of rap superstar Drake's mansion in Toronto. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10, the latest in the investigation into the shooting.
Also ahead, health experts explain the benefits added to getting your COVID-19 vaccines.
A Fort Cavazos soldier was arrested and charged for his role in a murder-for-hire plot in Connecticut. 30-year-old Army Sergeant Jeremy Pickert was arrested last Thursday. Authorities say the failed murder-for-hire plot to kill 4 people, including 2 children, was orchestrated behind bars at a Connecticut jail. Pickert's brother, Joshua Pickert, who is an inmate in that jail, reportedly came up with the plan. Jeremiah Pickert reportedly admitted to Connecticut authorities last December he sent money to an inmate's account at his brother's request.
Police in Canada are investigating a shooting outside rapper Drake's mansion in Toronto that left a security guard seriously wounded.
Now, some people are trying to put a connection here between the shooting and Drake's current public feud with rapper Kendrick Lamar.
Gunfire outside multi-Grammy winner Drake's mansion in Canada. Toronto police investigating, saying one person was hit by the bullets in a drive-by attack.
When officers arrived, They located a male who was suffering from an apparent gunshot wound.
Toronto police say the suspects were seen leaving in a car, but did not share further details.
That person was working apparently as a security guard at the residence. He was standing outside of the gates in front of the residence when the shooting occurred.
Police say the victim was hospitalized in serious condition, but with non-life-threatening injuries. Drake is cooperating with the investigation, but no word if he was home at the time. The 50,000 square foot property has been featured by Drake in the May 2020 cover of Architectural Digest and in his music videos. The shooting turning attention to the music superstar's public feud with former collaborator rapper Kendrick Lamar. Newly released music includes lyrics with the rappers dissing one another over their families and lifestyles. Police say they are aware of the feuding artist, but say a motive for the shooting is still unclear, adding it's too soon to draw any conclusions. The suspects are still at large, and this investigation is ongoing as Toronto police do not have a vehicle description or even a number of suspects at this time. Melissa Adon, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Union members at St. Mary's Hospital in Minnesota delivered a petition to Mayo Clinic leadership this morning. Members say bargaining sessions with the Mayo Clinic are going slow at the moment. It's been over 2 months since this process began, and they feel frustrated at its pace. One member stated they are here to support the Mayo Clinic. She said throughout the pandemic, all of the healthcare workers pitched in for the Mayo Clinic and the community.
For nearly 4 years, we've been working here with severe staffing shortages and excessive amounts of overtime. We have been doing more work with less. These shortages have had a direct link to growing inability to properly train new employees, as well as train current employees in new technologies and procedures.
The Mayo Clinic has been reached for comment regarding the bargaining session and has not responded so far. Getting your COVID-19 shot may do more than help prevent you from getting seriously sick from the virus.
COVID vaccines have been credited with saving millions of lives. Recent research also shows the benefits of vaccination extend far beyond reducing the risk of hospitalization and death. In fact, the shots were linked with up to a 55% reduction in heart failure and up to 78% reduction in blood clots after infection. The study looked at over 20 million people throughout Europe. Half were vaccinated and half were not. The benefits were found to last up to a year, but were more pronounced in the months shortly after getting the shots. Adults over the age of 65 are now able to get an additional updated COVID vaccine this spring. Public health authorities are also set to greenlight an updated shot in the fall designed to better protect against newer variants. With this Medical Minute, I'm Em Nguyen, ABC News.
Here's a look at some of the top headlines you can find in the Queer Record. Mayor Sarah Post-Meyer reflects on her time in office, and Bill Hamilton is reelected to Cuero ISD Board of Trustees. Read these stories and more at DeWittCountyToday.com. And now here's Mac.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. Well, it's a little warm and muggy out there, 78 degrees. Doesn't sound like very cool at all. Feels like 81. That's because the humidity is so high. We managed to get up to 88 this afternoon. Tomorrow, I still think we're going to hit one day of 90 degrees, but then things are going to change. There's a little frontal system. It's more of a wind shift line, but it's going to help us out. We'll talk about that coming up in a moment. Well, good evening, everyone. Not exactly a lovely day out there. It was warm, humid, and of course hazy as well. Tonight, while we are fairly quiet down here, we're still going to get the overcast in the morning. You'll see the cloud deck, and but it will, shall we say, hang around most of the day and very little sun tomorrow, but still expect the warm temperatures. Now, the big weather that is occurring is not in our neighborhood, fortunately. Earlier today, you can see this. We had the tornado watch that extended all the way down to Austin. We were getting a little nervous here, but then things sort of changed around, and there's Dallas, and right about now some big stuff's happening just to the east of the Dallas area, Greenville, I believe, and heading on up into Arkansas and of course Texarkana. That's where they're getting the really big severe weather. Interesting that tomorrow we may get another round of this, which is kind of a drag because we're getting pretty tired of it. In addition to the crossroads down south between Corpus Christi and Brownsville, they've got a heat advisory for tomorrow because their humidity and their actually temperatures are going to be a little bit warmer. This is what I was talking about for tomorrow. That looks kind of ominous to me because I know, what's going to happen with the upper winds. There's going to be a minor swirl coming through here, and it's going to pop up these thunderstorms. They're all going to go in this direction, but you can see how Austin's pretty much on the bottom end, and that's too close to the I-10 corridor, and that's too close to our area as well. But let's just say this. If they get going, we'll certainly be watching them. Hopefully the cap that's on top of us is going to maintain a little bit of quiet for us. Here's Future Tracker. We go in through your into Thursday morning, and that activity up there will finally end. For us, the onshore wind is definitely here. You'll see the overcast, and there you see again on Thursday afternoon another line of storms, exactly where it's predicted. Now the question is it going this way or which way? Well, right now the computer models have it falling apart and staying north of us, and if it does that, then we'll be okay, because that is a little dry line. You can see it right here, the little dry line that will actually come through our area by the time we get to Friday and give us a break. What kind of break? Well, we're looking for 94 tomorrow, then 87 tomorrow, on Friday rather, and then 83 on Saturday. One cool day, or at least cooler day, and reasonable humidity. But tomorrow, still on the warm side, while we're in the 90s, obviously along the Rio Grande, they'll be near 100. Okay, so mostly cloudy with a little bit of afternoon sun. 87 tomorrow in Port Lavaca. Mostly cloudy, a little bit of afternoon sun. Getting up to about 90 degrees tomorrow in Cuero, and for the rest of us, it's going to be hot and hazy for Thursday. Friday is the beginning of the change, and then I think Saturday is going to be a very nice day, and hopefully we'll see a chance of some nice rain here on Sunday night into Monday. We'll keep our fingers crossed because we have been a little shy on the rain department. That's it from the weather office, so we'll toss it over. Oh, just reminding everybody, we do have a QR code. Please scan that and put Crossroads Today on your phone. Here's Zach Brown with sports.
Thank you, Max. St. Joseph softball one step closer to a state title. I'll have that in sports. A celebration of life for former Cuero and NFL star Arthur Whittington will be held Saturday morning at 11 a.m. The service will be at the Cuero Performing Arts Center, 920 East Broadway Street. It's right next to Gobbler Stadium, where Whittington first shined as a member of Cuero's great 1970s teams. Arthur Whittington died of cancer in Houston at the age of 68. He died on April 22nd. His jersey number with the Oakland Raiders, number 22. Whittington played on the Raiders Super Bowl 15 championship team in 1981. 3 years before that, he was picked in the 7th round of the NFL draft by the Raiders. 46 years later, Arthur's nephew, Jordan Whittington, was picked in the 6th round of the NFL draft by the Los Angeles Rams. For the St. Joseph Lady Flyers, their postseason run continues after a big win last night. It was a close one. Final score 4-2. Shane Meismer with the distance, giving up just the 2 earned runs. Elena St. Jean had 3 RBIs in the game, which led everyone and led them to a win. The Lady Flyers are regional round champs, still in the hunt for a state championship. And while we're talking about St. Joseph teams going to state, one Lady Flyer made Flyer Nation proud. In state, this is Isabella Lyons. She was a TAPS 5A All-State finalist. She comes in 8th place. The tournament took place at Squaw Valley in Glen Rose, Texas. She is just a junior and made the TAPS All-State team. She is no doubt looking forward to another great and maybe even better senior season. All right, now that we got that out the way, the former interpreter for the Major League Baseball player Shohei Ohtani has agreed to plead guilty to federal charges. It relates to a theft of nearly $17 million from the Dodgers star. The Department of Justice says Ippei Mitsuhara is expected to plead guilty to 1 count of bank fraud and 1 count of subscribing to a false tax return during his May 14th arraignment. The DOJ says Mitsuhara allegedly stole from Ohtani after helping him set up bank accounts in the U.S. The U.S. attorney says that was so Mitsuhara could, quote, finance his voracious appetite for illegal sports betting. He then lied to the IRS about his income. Mitsuhara faces up to 33 years in federal prison. The WNBA is making changes to the way teams travel to games. On Tuesday, the league's commissioner announced all 12 teams will begin charter travel this season. This will end the WNBA's long-standing policy of mandated regular season commercial flights for its players. The commissioner says plans are still being made to get charter planes in place. The decision comes as the league sees a widespread surge in ticket sales following this year's rookie draft class, including Caitlin Clark. Teams this season are traveling with security personnel. The WNBA's regular season right around the corner. It begins May 14th. And one last thing, just final, the Astros lose yet again. That's 6 losses in a row to the New York Yankees. I'm calling it right now, Dawn. It's no longer April. The season is over.
Do you agree, Dawn?
It's early May, but I did want to mention some of the WNBA thing, because the WNBA was saying some of their players, who are mostly tall, they're basketball players, are flying commercial, so they're flying with regular passengers, so they're having to climb over the passengers to the seats on the window, because they get the window seats because they are WNBA players. So this way, if they fly charter, then they wouldn't have to do that.
Less tight of a plane.
That's right.
All righty.
That's right. There you go.
Alrighty, thank you, Dawn, and thank you, Zach. And stay with us. Coming up next on 25 News Now at 10, we're going to take a last look at your weather with Mac. Plus, break out the pillows and PJs. Tomorrow is National Sleepover Day.
Caught on camera in Cheesehead Land, Wisconsin, a firefighter reunited 4 ducklings with their mom after rescuing them from a sewer. The Oak Creek Fire Department shared this video of the reunion in a retention pond. The department wrote that ducklings just cannot seem to stay out of harm's way. They should be able to duck out of that. But anyway, they're happy they were able to help this family stay together.
Well, you know why? The ducklings.
Yes. I got to tell the world about the world's largest vacuum. Here it is, the world's largest vacuum, designed to suck planet heating pollution, has just opened in Iceland. Mammoth is a commercial direct air capture plant which runs off clean geothermal energy.
Nice.
The company says it is able to pull 36,000 tons of carbon from the atmosphere at full capacity. They plan to transport the carbon underground where it will naturally be transformed into stone.
Ooh, let's bring those over here.
The Stone Age, yes. And now you wonder why there are no clouds ever on Iceland.
They're going to need a lot of those.
Yes, but they have live volcanoes there.
But they got plenty of heat, that's for sure.
Well,
you know what I say about the little ducks? The little ducks follow in line the mama. And they're not even looking where they're going. They're just following the mama. So that's why they keep falling into the grates of the street grills. So,
or maybe they're listening to the music of Drake. Now, now, are we going to have fog overnight?
We're going to have some haze and some fog, and tomorrow morning it'll be a little soupy. In fact, most of the day it'll be another hazy and warm day. I do expect us to hit the 90-degree temperature mark tomorrow, but then by Friday things start to change as a north wind kicks in, and hopefully that'll get us a break from the heat over the weekend.
Thank you, Mac. Tomorrow is National Sleepover Day, but a sleepover is also a great time to tell scary stories and laugh until you cry. The holiday was started by a makeup brand in Cosmopolitan magazine in 2017. The idea at the time was that girls would share beauty secrets and do makeovers, and that is in fact true. I did do that a lot with my girlfriends.
How about?
Yeah, everyone who celebrates the day is encouraged to share photos on social media with the hashtag National Sleepover Day.
Did you put that out on the hashtag when you did that?
No, we didn't have those cool iPhones we have now. We had Blackberries, you know.
2017?
Well, I wasn't having sleepovers at 17. Not when I was like 14, you know.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us for 25 News Now at 10.
Join Carolina Parker Cox, 25 News Now Sunrise starting at 5 a.m. Good night, everybody.